Good day. Tonight is the same topic that I have seen last time. It was about the new technology challenge of the critical thinking. And tonight it is the second part and final part, I think. We have seen the first part, the topic about the big interest of critical thinking skills that help us facing the new technology. We are facing the full embedment of what is immersed in the mind of people through the means of social media and networks. Now the case study, it is a social media. Some question that we have asked at the beginning of this paper concerning the new technology of our age. Does technology affect on our way of thinking and life, or do we affect it? How have sites like Facebook or Twitter or another means, for example, changed our type of communication? How we conceive of and publicly present our identity? Social media has opened new forms of social organization. How does social media affect? How does social phenomenon of socialization? And finally, the critical thinking, a necessary skill in the age of spin, state of mental confusion. Is there need of critical thinking to be against a type of social media? In fact, social media becomes an essential part of the big majority of people of the world today. We live in the age of tools, big data, with hundreds of millions of people spending countless hours and days on social media to share communicated, connected, interconnected, and created user-generated data and an unprecedented rate of social media became one unique source of big data. This novel, source of rich data, provides unparalleled opportunity and great potential and development. Unfortunately, social media becomes also a danger by its on our mental life. What is social media meaning? It is a rapidly growing, a new field. It is an interdisciplinary field at the crossroad of disparate, disciplinary, deeply rooted in computer science and social sciences, fast growing interest, and intensified need to harness social media data require research and development of tools for finding insight from big social media data. Now the encyclopedia or popular encyclopedia, on net, by Wikipedia, for example, defines and classifies social media as follow. In 2016, Merriam-Webster defines social media forms of electronic communication through which people created online communities to share information, ideas, personal messages, etc. The term social media are usually used to describe social networking sites such as Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc., and Snap and Instagram, all the kind of social media that we have now in our hand. Now, critics, we have positive aspect of and dark side of social media. We will start by the positive aspect. There are some of the content creation activities that network individuals take part in writing material text or online on social media sites such as Facebook, for example. They are sharing digital photo, they are contributing, ranking, and review of product, posting comments on third-party PR blogs, taking online material and remixing into a new creation. Social media have removed all the communication barriers, and now one of the can communicate his higher perception and thoughts over a variety of topics. Finally, the another positive aspect of social media network site is to unite people on a huge platform for the achievement of special objectives. Dark side and disaster of aspect of using of social media. Popular social media network platform has been criticized for poor interaction or interface between platform, which leads to the creation of information slops and isolated pockets of data contained in use social media platform. There is too many negative aspects of use social media, but we have to know the other side of the network. We can't get too much details about. We can put out the following points. First one, disparity, trustworthiness, concentration, passive participation, reliability. The final point regarding the negative social media used to by a militant groups. And the world is becoming increasingly connected via the power of the internet. Political movement, including militant groups, have begun to see social media as a major organizing and recruiting tools. Also, some other negative side of social media in the classroom, universities, workplace, friend groups, etc. We have some examples about the problem of social media. On Twitter, for example, we can Twitter. There is a very little space to write or justify what we believe, or what we like to say. There is only 140, now it is more than 140 characters, and it does not allow people to have the ability to have their way of thinking challenged in a serious way. Facebook is different than with Twitter in that the limit on now how much one may write in much. Less restrictive, but the presence of liking of something on Facebook can develop or discussion in the context of whose side is more popular. We ask ourselves every time that we use Twitter or Facebook or others, the danger of misconceptions spread and the fake news and all kind of manipulating information that we receive every time and every moment that we are using these materials. But for example, towards fake news, some critical thinking say, something critical thinker say, we determine the truth and real facts and news via critical thinking skills. Now, reason and critical thinking. Introduction of difference between reason and mind. In brief, mind is a seat of cognitive faculties, including consciousness, perceptions, thinking, judgment, and memory. It is usually defined as the faculty of an entity reasoning and the thoughts It holds its power, the power of imagination, recognition, and appreciation, and it is responsible for processing feelings and also emotions, resulting in attitude of the action. In other words, mind is also part of our collection. It's our being, our existence, which thinker, our things, and will. It is the collection of our ideas, opinions, and attitude. We say in our language of everyday life, state of mind. My state of mind, my opinion. I change my opinion, I change my mind, etc. I have changed my mind. Okay, it is my opinion. For example, finally, the mind is mixed with personal views or my intention, sometime with my intuition, or it is not necessarily contains a systematic view. Reason is completely different. In my view, it is exercise the rational faculty to reduce inference from premises, to perform the process of deduction and induction, to rationate to reach of the conclusion of facts, and it makes the difference between fact and opinion. And it has finally three major moments. What are? Has rich rational culture? Has a rich rational culture include knowledge, rationalist philosophers, has logical dialectic mechanism, opposite and to dual list view, the path or dual. I mean, we neglect, we don't understand about the interest of opposite situation, but we can to have a dialectic mind, dialectic judgment. Mind habit also, mind habits, it is different. And finally, ourselves think critically. Rethinking, thinking. Why? And how? Technology is power. We have faced it by our human power. This means especially by our intellect and critical thinking. Power, we have described this power as purposed and reflective judgment about what to believe or what to do in response to observations, to experiences, overly technology, and that's where things get complex. We can do the same critical reasoning operation without technology as we can with a just a different speed or with different cases. Now the function of reason, the last topic for this one. Naturally, our most frequent guide to see our world has to be reasoning and trying as possible to naturally our passions, desires, and crazy emotions. It is not an easy process. It is not amazing to see or observe how the people now use the social media. We are slaves of technology. We are machines without freedom of thinking up the material that we have in hand. We have destroyed our rational mind. Recently, in conversation with Dan Spear, he speaks about the new function of reason that we need to modern life. It is for responding to a revolution of a new technology, contrary to the standard view of reason as a capacity that enhances the individual in his or her cognitive capacity. The standard image is of Rodin. Rodin status of Rodin entitled is thinker, thinking on his own and discovering new ideas. What we say now, I think, are the basic functions of reason, individual or social. I believe that the most power that we can use is our reason. He said, the general question I have been living is how do we go about getting a better scientific thinking or critical include in our mind, grip on everything in this paper social media, using our reason to produce an argument to convince yourselves and others, and establish the convergence of goals, of ideas, made more sense. Using reason in the sense that we have seen in this paper helps us to get more clever, more intelligence, and creative, and discover the truth. But still our reason regarding downstairs in his recent book, The Enigma of Reason. Conclusion. The main point that we have seen in this proposal are the interest of philosophical thinking. It was the general context of critical thinking. We have seen a typical example of Socrates dialogue and the importance of questioning in part 2. It was around with some details the social media, its importance and its negative aspect. In the part 3, it was about the function of reason. In fact, we are now front of a new powers, a new technology, social media, etc., and the power of reason or rationality. Our reason has to have its victory in the battle, and I would like to put forward 4 open questions. First one, how treats the dual problem, meaning our old habits of mind and the new technology. Number 2, what is the destiny of reason? And finally, what is the future of truth? The man is today has created everything for a good life and nice communication, electronic communication, etc., but he forgets himself. We have a new technology, but we don't have a new man. We have an old function of reason, but we don't have a new reason. We use a new technology with old habits. We must destroy our old traditional thinking and artificial life. Finally, the new technology is a new opium of the world. After all, critical thinking is not some mystical phenomenon, but it is a skills help us in getting a good way in our everyday life. It is also more necessarily now in 21st century than ever. Finally, it is appear or exist to me while I am talking about this subject. If a European intellectual listen to me, these are now, he said, these are now goods they have returned, has been returned to us. I do not disagree with him. It means the reason, rationality, and critical thinking. But it can be commented by, say, about that. There is no objection to its being a human community, and that is the mind has its heritage in all people, civilizations, based on the evidence of our history of people civilization. Further readings, but I have too much reference, but I don't like to say all my references here, but you have by example, first one, Richard Paul and others, a guide for redesigning introduction critical thinking. It is very old, in 1984. And also you have another one, and conversation with Dan Server speaks about the function of reason. It is dated 2017. And also for books, we have a field guide to critical thinking in the information age, etc. For Daniel Levitin Dutton, USA, in 2016. And also another one, critical thinking by Christopher Dower, Cambridge University Press, 2017. And last one, in French language, Apprendre à penser, in French, Daniel Fox, it's edited in 2017, Apprendre à penser. That's all. See you next time.